And it's up to you.
Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of the Town Board of Council to order. First order of business is the pledge of allegiance. So, please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first order of business is approving minutes from the previous meeting. Any concerns there?
I didn't see anything in it, I'll make a motion for approval.
Is there a second on that? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next, approving the claim signing bills. I'll get that out there. Any concerns there?
Motion to approve claims.
Is there a second on that? Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Our manager's out, well, not feeling well tonight, so go to the manager's report, which kind of things we need to consider with that. Last thing, she raised the issue of some dumping was happening with the fiber contractors, that's they've been found, items taken care of that, and they are going to be, they're going to be issued a stop work order. So they are planning in place to dispose of this properly, they will not be working. We're looking at a remote alarming unit at lift stations, monitor 24/7 with phone notification of any issues. It's going to be $3,800 for 16, cover 16 stations. Ask a question on that.
Is that 3,800 per lift station or 3,800 for all 16 lift stations?
Southern, do you know?
No, she did not tell me, but I would think maybe really, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know what she's got.
We might want to pull up until we know for sure what that's going to be then.
Make a motion to table that. I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye. And last thing, we raised the issues raised about getting rain suits and mud boots for new employees. Like tractor sliding, we need rain suits for $59.99. Trying another quote from New Line for $159. And then mud boots and tractor supply are $139.99. So they say it'd be $200 to go to tractor supply for both the rain suit and mud boots.
Can I ask that, even if you all approve that, can we wait for an employee to be here until after their 90 days? Because an employee has already been let go and within his 90 days, to have bought these and then we'll out that money.
I understand what we're supposed to do in the meantime.
I don't know. It's just that that's a lot of money for us to just dish out and lose, considering, but I mean, I don't know what else to do.
I mean, maybe we write policy of something if you're not here 90 days, then that's reimbursed the town, that cost.
Deducted from final paycheck.
Correct.
Okay, we can do that.
Kind of way we do things.
Oh, the sewage, yeah, the sewage really good, that probably could just stay.
And they just, then they're nominated or whatever, then they're off the path.
Right. Size wise, I don't know, you want one.
And boots are unique upsize. Suits should be.
Get clarification on the amount. Over the 90-day period until we find the other and determine that, and we'll hold the 40
Okay,
on the 2 items. Make a motion to do that.
okay,
Develop a policy and use them.
okay, I've got that wrote down too. Now, your next one for that water, the drop-in meter, is that what she was referring to as the submersible pump? In her notes? Because she gave me a quote for Paul to sign, she's my permission. This is from the company XYLEM, I don't know, Xylem, for a Wyatt model submersible pump for $36,475. I mean, that's what she's given me.
Pump and meter sounds like a different thing.
I don't see anything in the list, sounds like you need to table that until she can return in. Just define the information.
All in favor of taking those issues? Aye. Wastewater treatment plant, the mothball plant, the initial savings looks like $6,690.68 in electricity savings for 1 month, March through April. March 10th, they're tabled down. I mean, we're still operating a little bit, so we should see even more savings on the next bill, so. $80,000 more savings on an annual basis there, is what we're looking at. Just for electricity usage there, so. That's a good early sign. The last time we talked about getting internet to the old waste swap treatment plant over here. She's not been able to hear, has not heard from Mainstream, they can help out in that process, but Starlink has a couple options. Either a $536 upfront fee with $65 for small business, or residential rates for $479 upfront and $50.
That's one of the handouts she had me to give you for the Starlink.
Oh. Sandra, do you know, are we eligible for residential rate? It seems like kind of a slant, we'll say if we can get the jump, we are, right, we have used,
I would think so.
so
I mean, I would,
that's just wrong.
I don't think we're gonna.
Now, the backside is highlighted for residential. I mean, if we talk about residential, for no more than we need over there, I'll do residential. Go and understand that.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, because I have not spoken with these people, so I don't know, but
Motion to table.
thank you.
Second.
All in favor of tabling that, to get clarification? Aye. No updates on the State Road 11, water main situation that we'll be dealing with. There's what you want. So there's been a complaint on Chestnut Street of lights off of the sewer plant, large number of stray cats, needles, and overgrowth.
That's that woman that came and talked to me.
So this is the same,
That's the same one, and she did go over
okay.
it. And she did say, yes, the rest of it, she couldn't see anything
Nothing
else.
else.
But the cats are not gonna come out there in daylight.
Right.
They're gonna be at night. She said she didn't see any needles over in the grass or anything else. Other than that.
So when I know she said they got the 500 cut the grass, did you send them off? Or something? How would they know about it?
I know she sent a letter, but I don't know if that's who she sent the letter to. She took it upon herself to send a letter.
So we can clarify that.
We issue with the light being off, just two of them, man. I went there, here, there, and lights. I was the light, she was popping.
You know, I thought the lights were always on.
So, maybe from
Okay.
What's that? Maybe she wants to let off.
Well, as far as it, all the.
She did order the locks for the spigots. Yeah. And yeah, we've already received them. I'm guessing, I give them to her, so I'm guessing she gave them to Kenny to put on, but she did give those.
people aware of which state it is, the location, you could have it.
Yeah.
You should bring that spare lock key to use on it, put in the key box
Okay.
in your little house.
Yeah, because I told her I didn't know if there was gonna be, if anybody else needed keys, if there was gonna be some made. I didn't know.
The Regina Lane project, Ed from the Western's working with the owner, they're resubmitting plans to the county, so they'll let us know that. So hold it down there, so we know what's exactly needed from us. Last up on here is skate park, there was some cracked concrete that they come out and sealed. And she said it needs to be resealed, but some of the sealing itself is not great. Rust, he's patching dead spots up in Sawnut Road. Rules sign is posted. Jill, do you want to just like,
Sure.
speak on that, where we are there, you know, so.
We'd like to, thank you.
You have to turn that on, Joe.
There you go, that's all, okay. Jill said yesterday, we agreed, when I was here last, we were talking about adding some safety features to the skate park. And so I have some information to share with you on that. If you were out there, we talked about fence, pouring concrete, along the side of the skate park and then putting a fence that is, similar to the same fence as what is along the creek side of the skate park. So, that was definitely within your budget and it was cheaper for CNR for that strip when they were out there doing the concrete strip there. Just waiting to get the fence to put that in. The fence will go up. The other piece was a curve along 62, which requires an NDOT right of way permit, which has been filed with NDOT. And then depending on what NDOT says will determine the cost of that piece. So, right now, there is a minimum cost of time and materials not to exceed $5,000 in professional fees for Midwestern to do that. So that, I'll give you a total here in a second. That's part of it. If NDOT requires some kind of hydraulic analysis there, then that could go up in cost. So I'm gonna give you the minimum first. Then the fence and the concrete is $15,700. And then doing the asphalt curb and everything, $35,000. So if you take the 5, Midwestern, those other 2 numbers, you're at $55,700 to get those 2 features added. There was $50,000 in contingency in that project. It's listed that no one has used yet. So that can offset the majority of that cost. In the contingency, that's part of the contract that the town signed. So if you didn't spend contingency, that's just $50,000 less than you spent. So you've already committed money for that $50,000. So right now, the minimum would be additional $5,700.
I know that in working with Sandra and blocking all this stuff out, that there's money to pay for that. I think that, at least my recommendation is, it's cheapest that you're gonna get it, to do it right now, and to have it done, and do that, you still wanna go along with doing her and fix it. Now's the time to do it, and it'll be finished, we won't have to worry about it. But, we can find the $5,700.
Motion to approve.
Second. I agree.
All in favor?
Aye. Now, is the fencing gonna be done by this weekend or it's
The fence has been ordered, it took some time to get the other fencing in, so there's a little bit of a longer lead time. But when it comes in, it'll stop. So. If there's some other, we might not have to come up with the extra 5,700 either, depending on how some of the other line items follow this finish. So it could be that it's just a wash.
You want,
Urban trail?
yeah, you're on the trail.
And Sheree and I talked this morning, and she asked me if she couldn't be here if I would, cover the urban trail. So, as, we talked at one of your last meetings last month, that it's time for the town to solicit proposals from engineering firms to do the inspection on the upcoming urban trail project, which is to, trails alongside Chestnut Street from Rice Island down to Mulberry, and then on the, the east side of Mulberry down to Poplar, where there'll be a trail there. NDOT wants to let that project or let it out for bid in November of this year, and they said we need to have your inspector on board prior to that. So the town solicited for those proposals, between 8 and 10 were sent out by email by the town manager, as well as published on NDOT's RFP list. So anybody that signs up for that gets that as well. The town received 3 proposals. The scoring committee, which was Sheree, Paul, and Susan Mills, met last week to score those proposals. And right now, the highest average score was TLC, which is the group that designed the project. And what I'm asking for on behalf of Sheree is the ability for her to go back to TLC and negotiate price, and get a contract in front of you. NDOT has approved everything that's been done up to this point in procurement, and that is the next step. If that fails, we fail to negotiate with DLZ, then we'll go to the next highest scoring one and do the same thing. If that fails, we'll go to the next. So that's the next step in the process.
Questions for anyone on that? Entertain a motion to move forward with DLZ engineering. Second on that. Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
That's all I have, unless anyone has any questions for me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Justin Lesson of the Harrison County Fair Board.
I'm Justin Lesson, President of the Board. This is Jack Tanker, our treasurer for a couple new places around here. We're here to ask permission to get a trade permit for June 21st, Sunday for parade. It will be the same route that it's always been on YMCA, down the hill through downtown and the fairgrounds. The only change that we'd like to request is if we could do it at 2 o'clock instead of almost 6 o'clock. We're hoping to have a kickoff event this year on Sunday after the parade, and move some other things around inside. That's why we want to move up that way and have an event afterwards.
Yeah, Justin, that's 2 p.m. when you want to have it. Right?
Yes, sir.
On what day?
June 21st.
Thank you.
Shouldn't be any big traffic issue, any more traffic issues that will have Sunday traffic.
Church is over and all that.
You might not get to see the arrives coming into the parade. That's usually the last thing the rides start coming through to be, from that progress. So
They
you may not be part of
The
it.
last couple of years now, they've been setting up on, well, last year, we had an opening game early, but they usually set up on Mondays now, and we try to start Tuesday, because we try to come in the evening, so, should be good, but we'll have a queen contest afterwards, indoors, and we intend, if all goes as planned, on having monster truck event to get the parade off, we don't have an event on Sundays. They were planning on putting monster trucks in the parade, so, that's why I want to move it up, so we can get that done, do meet and greets right along, so, have all that for kids.
Happy birthday.
That's right.
We work with the Voice at All on county.
Yes.
Yeah, already, okay.
We're very close to it.
I have no problem, I make a motion to approve that.
Second on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you, young man.
So got you here,
I know it's coming.
grandstand, any update there?
Our intention, this is the first time this has been public, so we plan on, we're waiting to talk to you guys, but basically our intention is for it to be used. The only thing we have left, which they're down there now, is electricity. They're finishing up some handicap ramps, but those will be done this week or next week, so that's not concerned. The electricity is the last thing we need. So as long as everything goes good at the state and county level, we should be done pretty clear. Also, we just haven't been able to put anything out, legal obligations and all that. That's why it's kind of been silent on social media and no one really know anything in the dark, so. But that is our intention.
Have we hired a young man to ride the green machine over there outside and mowing out, close to the room here?
Yes.
Permanent thing?
Yes, so, that's actually one of our board members. It's his son that's not for us now, so.
Because we had interaction between wastewater and the ground.
Yes.
We've got that site.
There was, this is a discussion for the day. I think Les Rhodes contacted me last year about you guys being interested in that property. And next to that, that's still up for talk if you guys are interested, we can connect on that still. So we're not pushing this out, if it's something you guys need or something, we can have discussions on.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Bethany,
Good evening, I'm Bethany, I'm with Harrison County Pride, coming to talk about this year's festivals. We are moving over to Rice Island, maybe get some more space, play out a little bit. And we had a couple of specific requests along with the water spaces will not be locked up. We wondered if we could have the one at the skate park unlocked that day so we could the water jug. And we wondered if it would be agreeable to designate the lot in on the parking lot island side as disabled parking for the day. Just with signage, I mean, there's no real enforcement, but just kind of to say, there's going to be limited parking for this festival. Can we encourage everyone else to park from now and reserve this for 2 minutes?
how many spots are out there?
35.
You think there'll be most of them, or could?
I think probably based on what we've had in the past, maybe half. And then, if, if people choose not to honor the sign, that was my thinking was, better to go over. But I know in the past, by Centennial, there were only a few spots. We added a few more, and we still had a few folks who had difficulty, having parked a little farther away.
I don't see any reason why you couldn't sign it for the day, the signage up. Try to encourage it yourself, but I would suggest not taking it in.
Okay.
You
Maybe
just want
one
to
row.
or just, keep your other people happy too. Not having you, that's just a suggestion. You can do it if you want, but.
What is it, June?
June 27th. 3 days.
Time's good.
3 days.
3 days. You got a park rent for 3 days?
No,
3 o'clock.
3, yes.
27. Wood.
And.
I'm not that
Yeah.
one. Right?
Is there gonna be an issue with that? Or something, just about, you got keys or?
No, I don't have keys, Kenny has.
Kenny has keys.
Yes,
We can, yeah, we can make that should be doable. Is that the closest spigot?
It is, there's none actually on the island, so the one in the skate park will be the closest.
I would check back, Sandra,
Yeah.
like that week and say, just a reminder, just to make sure.
Yeah, we're
We're not
not
trying to,
we need to have the temporary lock back on it, but it only the staff, comes and goes, we can obviously do that.
Work with, I would think Kenny would be able to just unlock it for that day.
You don't unlock.
Maybe the killer.
We have guys come clean back on.
Oh, okay. So somebody already, some staff is already there, okay.
Because I'm thinking Rick Keller can unlock it, because he's, does that first, he's like, and he unlock it after the fact.
Okay.
He does that. Yes.
Sounds like a good.
You don't need that on.
You doing all right? Thank you very much.
we need a motion on that. Just one of you see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Ryan still excited for the sign up on here. Not here though, so. I think that. Sandra, you have anything for us?
Yes, I have some stuff.
All right.
First of all, Heather,
Yes.
I have not gotten a corrected invoice from the works department yet.
Really?
Yes, so if I can get that, I can get that taken care of, we have Mr. Thomas, I need you to sign this bond, but I need for the council to approve the bond from Mr. Thomas. And then you can sign this form. We have a request, the draw request number 38, that Jill sent over for you to sign the letter. Cherie's already signed it, we got that right before she left. I still have just the allowance docket, the register, but I do, my main thing that I have two reasons, is I need approval for Paul to sign the quotes to get the capital asset reconciliation up to date by Jim Higgins at the OWG CPA. This was on the audit that has to be done because they haven't done it since before I got here. So his quote to do it is, it's a maximum of $6,600. He's very inexpensive, so, and he can get this done by June, he says. And then I need permission for Paul to sign for a rate study for the water and the sewer, because these will need to be raised. So, and if, what it would happen would, it would be like a percentage each year to go up. And the water would be at a certain, like in January, and the sewer would be in June. So it's not a jump on both. So, and that is, I believe, that's, 5,000 for utilities, so 10 grand just to do the rate study, 5 for each.
By water, by sewer.
Yes, so I need permission for you to sign both of those. And then the dump truck got delivered to the street department.
Do you want a motion to do this?
Yeah.
Let's
The bond, Mr. Thomas.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Now, the capital asset reconciliation.
Capital asset. And these are both the same.
This is the, yes, this is the proposal and engagement letter for that.
And the recommendation is Paul is Lee, you signed that and Eric.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? And then the rate study, again, we're just engaging them to do that for us.
That's just the proposal and engagement letter, yes.
Motion for Paul to go sign that.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
All right, dump truck.
All right.
Okay, the dump truck, the guy brought it from the Ascendance, the company in Delmar. He brought it, I have an invoice for $134,389.23, but then he says that there is a quote on here for a snowplow and a spreader, okay? So the snowplow is $19,067, and that's a 10-foot blade. And Kenny didn't say too much about that. And that is the electric over hydraulics and installed for $19,067. Then there is a salt dog spreader insert with slope to bulkhead, whatever, for $13,063. But Kenny said that he wanted to check around to see if he could get one cheaper on the spreader. So I don't know if he did not say if he wanted me to get approval for the snowplow blade. But I'm just giving you all the information so he can let me know, but you already approved the truck, but I just want to make sure that I can pay this invoice.
We had discussion regarding the slow box and the blade as well. But I'll make a motion to table that until Mr. Bloom has set aside his requirements and done his shopping. And we'll go back to make a
Okay, but I'm good to do the invoice, right?
Yeah, we are approved.
Okay, that's what I
We're
thought.
already up.
So we got that, and then I just had the basic stuff.
So I'll second the tabling of the plow and the snow or salt spreader.
All in favor, table that, so we get more information. Aye. Opposed?
And I think that's it. No, that's enough. We just got it all.
Anyone else have any issues to bring up? Old business, new business?
I have something. So, the Parks Department is looking at doing a bigger festival at Christmas, looking at potentially using Bicentennial Park and building basically a village. The question is, and it's something to think about, it's not that we have to answer this and figure it out right now, but I saw Rachel was in the gallery, so I'm sure she can help us think, but when you take over Bicentennial Park and you take out all the parking, we have a certain amount of parking spots that are designated for residential, for these apartments. We need to understand how many of the spots are, in essence, guaranteed to be available for the residents down there. And then the other part of this is, if you take off half of the parking area, because the way the parking is designated is, it's angular and not straight parking, if that makes sense. So you come in one way and go out the other. If you take off half of it, there is no in and out for the other half. So one option is to use the entrance area of behind the New Mexican restaurant. I apologize, I can't think of its name, but anyhow, that and car come in that way and then be able to get the parking places. But some of that is independent ownership versus town ownership that we need to kind of work through. And I don't know if anyone has any experience that I'm being questioned on how we get all this done. And Rachel, you're here, so I figure you might have some thoughts on this process. Yeah.
So I don't have any great help on that process. We have been working with the Parks Department, kind of popcorn festivals, you do it, entities coming together, trying to make something that is a grander attraction to bring more people to town. So yes, the idea was kind of like some of the towns that have like a Chris Kettle market kind of things, to have something of that nature. Not so much to the German route, but more the country, to go in line with our existing line of Horton and Merry Country Christmas events that already happen. So ideally, yes, we would like to have that entire parking lot area to be able to set up like a food tent, for seating and heated space, and then have some, huts. Yeah, like I don't, they're like most of them would be a 10 by 10 size built structure that stayed there for the duration of the event. Ideally, we were looking at starting the weekend of lineup and going until the weekend before Christmas. And so that's why it would need to be, even though it would only be, the events would only be happening on weekends, we can't just move those in and out either. But yeah, we could kind of think of some other layouts or possibilities, talk about other locations, but again, like the goal is to keep people downtown, and if we move to, say, like the farmer market area, that kind of puts people out of the downtown area. I know it's not really close, but it's just enough that it makes a difference, yeah. So that's
about putting the huts on the ground.
No.
the only
Okay.
Could we use half the strip? So that I could, you mentioned, there's the angular parking area. Could
Yeah,
they
sure.
still drive up one way or?
At the absolute minimum, they need both sides. You could possibly leave the very farthest one or the one closest to North Capitol. That strip has available, especially for residents, but probably the flow, unless we ignore the flow for about 30 days and just have that for residential parking or whatnot.
But to your point, they are angled, so you have to be coming from north to south to park in those spots correctly.
Is there not any temporary lines that they can do, like how it does when they change lanes?
I mean, it's definitely
When you just do a temporary line,
Well, even
straighten
then,
them?
it's not just about straight, it's because it's probably, when you've got the angles, it allows you to be narrow. So that the turn-in radius that you need might not work very well if you just try to go over your angles. Something to look at, I'm not sure. I know that's. Well, finding them too, that's it.
Yeah, and then, so, right, and that's you don't, it's that, finding that balance of being able to host events and have ample parking, but having spaces that you need to accommodate what you're shooting to do, so that's part of the trick as well. So, because we want to bring people downtown, and then have
We've also got
park as well. Yeah, and that, we talked about that as well, as kind of like the farmer's market, it's just enough
Well, as far as the parking, I mean, there's.
Oh, sure.
Parking limits.
ample parking, absolutely. So that's kind of, we've kicked around lots of different ideas.
Can I throw a random thing out? In the way that a business can reserve a street space by paying a fee to the town, could a certain number of street spaces be reserved for the residents for that month? And then you wouldn't have to do weird configurations with the lot, just the lot of us. The residents have, a couple designated spots.
Yeah, that's one thing I don't know enough about is the residents that do live in apartments here on Chestnut, how many spots are needed for those individuals? I'm not sure how that works. I need to understand that a little better.
And then the trick is, all the people who are used to parking around Chestnut to go into those places, all of a sudden,
The merchants.
they're not, like, turn those over to residents.
Sure.
It's a good thought, but.
I think we need to think about this a bit more and really truly dig into it, explore how to do this, because I'd rather keep the events in downtown Corbin than moving somewhere else.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe y'all, if we are able to figure something out. Also, I'm looking at it.
Don't put it in.
You called me up here.
Oh, I'll let you
Sure.
Sorry.
That's what we're the whole lot.
Yeah, it's not a decision, but I'm saying we need to, as a board, need to figure out how to make this work, in town versus elsewhere.
So we think about it.
Susan is wanting, on 330 McGrain Street, there is, it's zoned R1. There is a camper, an RV camper, behind 330 McGrain Street. And it's being used as a residence. So whoever lives at 330 McGrain Street, they have a camper behind their house, like at the back of their property, and they've got somebody living in that camper as a residence. And that apparently is a big no-no. And she said that she would like permission to have Chris send a letter.
I don't know if they found it, but I'll get it in the letter.
Well, please, send a letter to the residents.
It's been, this isn't just a camping out thing, it's been a long term.
No, she says that they are using it as a residence, whoever these people are living there. It's not the same people living at the home.
So that people are renting out camper owners.
I'm guessing so, or it could be a family member, a kid, or whoever living there. Like a rental, yes. And she said that's a no-no.
Ron, that motion to send a letter.
Second on that? Second. All in favor? Aye.
And my next question is we are going to need a policy for a discount for water and sod. Do you all have any inputs that you would like the Florida Savannah to be part of the policy? Watering your sod.
Watering your sod, I thought you said water and sod, and I'm like, you sell sod?
No, watering your sod. It's just like a one-time thing we do like the pool field. We can do a one-time thing for watering your sod.
How,
So the full field,
Yes. And it
does
is-
not include just water usage as a one-time, it specifically says for pools only?
Yes, it is for pools only, and it's a certain size and certain gallons
Yeah,
before you can get a pool fill.
I'm always writing everything necessary to go.
So that means you need to do more.
Need to overcome.
But, you know, we've had to give this one because the water doesn't go in the sewer. But it is a choice for people to get sod
right.
and to water, not a necessity.
And how much water are we talking, I mean, how much of a difference, that's the,
I don't.
like
I
a
have
pool is
no
obviously,
idea.
you know, locked, you know.
I have no idea. It was brought to my attention by my utility clerk, they wanted to policy.
I was gonna say, the pool filling, I think is 2,000 gallons or more.
No, I think it's more.
Is it very? I can't remember. I like that.
We have
Oh,
that
right,
policy.
Well, I'm just wondering if that policy shouldn't be expanded upon to include
The water side.
the water.
Because I think it needs to be a very large amount because,
Right.
you know,
People like gardens all the time.
right.
You know, that's,
And it's just a one-time thing. I don't want to be doing it all the time. Oh, yeah, I water my car, you know. I water my garden this month.
$5 adjustment here, $10 there.
Yeah, we can't do that. So is this something that the council is willing to do?
I don't see any reason why you wouldn't do that. I mean, honestly, I think that should write up the policy and bring it in and we can approve it.
Okay.
If it meets one of those, like, some kind of high.
Right, I mean, like initial
I'll look
sodding.
and, yeah, I'll look and see if anybody else has a policy like this and see what they have as theirs, if they have.
Everything on the farm, Chris,
Good, what's that?
like that. That model.
it'll be a policy ordinance, I think, but any thoughts?
Either way, I mean, I can help, right, sure, that's what you're asking, so
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, that's not
I don't really care who writes it, just want to get it.
I made a recommendation that Chris prepare
That's
that
perfect for
for
me.
the council and you will.
Okay. And that is truly all. Thank you.
Actually, we have something else that's on there.
Okay.
Elliott Street. At the corner of Elliott and Mulberry, or not really a corner, more of a really sharp curve, the bend. It's becoming more and more deadly, especially this time of the year, because of parking on both sides of the street and everyone using Mulberry as the fast pass for school bus traffic when school is let out, getting around the town. There's been some very, very, very close calls and a lot going on, especially now because the mowers are also in town and they're running the trailers on top of that. So it's down to less than a single lane in that bend, and you don't know that you've got a single lane approaching you until you're committed. I mean, I've had to back up, I can't tell you how many times recently before I've had to actually put it in reverse and back around to let somebody through. I think we need to look at that and decide if there's specific areas that we should paint yellow and not try to eliminate some of that, or we post a police officer there to slow people down during certain hours of the time, like when school's letting out. I mean, it's like, you know, Indianapolis 500 running Mulberry Street, that's crazy how fast people are driving that right now.
They do that on Poplar and, Maple, I mean, yeah, South Maple.
There's just an awful lot of kids now in that area, and it's getting worse versus better just because of the time of the year and the amount of equipment and people that's there. I think we need to look at that road and see if there's more areas that we need to yellow stripe. And we gotta be careful because a lot of those homes don't have parking at their house, but I think there might be some things we can do, or I even say put a stop sign up, but that's almost a thought too, because it's definitely a very hazardous area anymore.
What about one way?
I thought about one way too, and just because it happens to be the street I live on, I was like, which way would you rather drive to get home? Okay, if we made it one way, would you rather come this way or getting out of Dodge quicker? That would be an option, but I'm not sure where you break the one way at, because of school and everything else that, you know, feeds into that.
You know, bus goes around here every day. Yes. Instead of about 45 minutes waiting to the gentleman over there on 50, park right in the curve, wrong direction, pointing at the vehicle to get that vehicle.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's something that we look at, we study, we figure out, but I think we ought to be a little proactive versus waiting for the first true incident to happen here, but it's coming. I mean, it's any day now.
Is one side of the street parking?
No, both sides are.
I mean, there's only two limited to one side or the other.
I would think there would be in spots, but I think you're gonna have to look at almost a stagger, if that makes sense. Not necessarily saying, everything on the right hand side is no parking anymore, just because of the residents, we had to look at that a little bit. But I'm not sure how we go about deciding or studying that or figuring out what would be the best option to keep people safe.
I know there's a corner there.
Yeah, I had to take that piece of that, I was like, man, she works there, so I was like, I don't wanna say don't park there, but she does have off-street parking too. But we need to review that or else put up some no parking signs so that the mowers and everybody else doesn't necessarily clutter that corner also. Because there's always, I mean, I couldn't hardly get in today myself, just to get into my street with the mowers. I'm not sure what we'll do about that, but I think we should look at it.
Another one to think about and see.
Just wanted to add some more things to think about.
No, that's nice that I have a little time, I mean, rather than snap decision, it is good to go. Well,
And it's really no good.
No, the street is just not wide enough for what it's doing nowadays. You can't make it any wider because the house is right there.
Yeah, that's not easy, but
Not
not an option. All right, anything else for anyone? No, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
so seconded.
All in favor? Aye. That's everybody.
Okay, I'm going to assign those several there. I need you to sign just on that there. Thank you. I'm ready to sign this one for today. I'm on walking.